Hello, this is Grant. Welcome back to Dead Rising 2 Master Run. So quick thing I'm going to mention here is notice these two zombies. I do not know if it happens in this case, but if you kill these guys near a vent, you'll see the larvae actually leave their body and crawl down the vent, which is huge later. It doesn't always happen because it has to go down a vent specifically, and if they're not near a vent, it just doesn't happen. The larva doesn't show up or anything. But anyway, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go rescue the reporter, and we're going to do a little side scoop with the military. It's another little annoying scoop where they have guns and they refuse to give them up, which means you can't heal them. So that's kind of a liability. But as introduced in the cutscene, there's these little these gas zombies. So certain zombies will turn into gas zombies. They always look like this. You can actually spot them way over in the back, and as you approach, they kind of enrage. I do not believe they can be killed with the queen. However, you get a weapon later that only kills them. And they are much tougher and much faster. This area can be very tough if you're not a high level and able to outrun them. The bright side is certain things like the execution attacks still really work. And definitely follow, in my mind, when I first started getting back in this game, I found that you don't want to fight zombies. Like, sitting in one area and fighting zombies just can cause more and more to come to you. And that's definitely true with these gas zombies. In particular, these gas zombies will follow you a long way, and they are able to keep up with you mostly. So, you want to just keep running until you get a level transition. Because if you ever stop, you're just going to have a horde of just gas zombies wailing on you. And they can do a lot more damage. You'll notice I don't know if I get caught anytime soon by one of them, but they have much more complicated input prompts, where you have a very short time and are 10 stick, wiggles, and then a button press, all very quickly. And if you mess up, they'll take 3 blocks of damage right off your health instantly. They are much stronger. They also have a ranged attack, as you saw with that little kind of vomit projectile. It blinds you and you're stuck in one little area. Basically, you're stunned. It can be a huge liability. It doesn't actually do that much damage, if I recall, but the main thing is you'll get one will spit on you as you run by, and then you'll get grabbed and swarmed by all of them. I don't know if I ever talked about it but there's different kinds of grabs. You can just be grabbed by one zombie, and they deal 1 block of health per tick, I guess, which is basically every time you fail. If they get you on the ground, they do 3. Or if multiple zombies grab you, which is usually just them hoarding around, then that's when you get the multiple input presses, and they can do more damage. So that's definitely true with these, where if you get more zombies, it's an increased level of grapple. Luckily, they follow normal zombie rules otherwise. They can't get in here. They're still kind of short range on their aggroing. I actually come here because this is where the soldier scoop, I thought, well, this is where it is, but I had thought it started, but I believe you have to wait until this next case for it to spawn. We're actually going to a boss fight with a psychopath. So I always forget that he's in this game because it's just kind of a weird one-off. He's not too terribly difficult. He is the military. I don't know what his rank is, but he's the leader of the military that came in that cutscene. You'll notice we can start getting military zombies who give these assault rifles, which are honestly, they're really amazing guns. They're a better version of the mercenary rifles. The downside being is they're not good against gas zombies. So it's even though you get these now, they're not really that useful. It's oh, this gun's 20% better to fight a zombie that's 100% better. So that's kind of a little downside. I wish, to my knowledge, none of these rifles occur in the main game. Or I guess before this point, I should say. Unlike whereas there's ways in Dead Rising 1, you could get a machine gun at one single point in the game before the military arrived, if you were so inclined to kill a survivor. But we're going to make our way to the Yucatan parking garage, I guess. It leads underground. Normally it is blocked, but some Humvees crashed in there. You'll notice, I got spit on and instantly grabbed. Now there's 10 zombies behind me. When we actually go down the underground, we'll get a gun that's specifically made to deal with these guys. It'll just knock down regular zombies, but it'll kill those. So what I like to do normally is, since you'll get tons of them following behind you, just every once in a while, pull that gun out, pop back, kill 10 of them, and then move on. Especially if you need to stop. I do love the efficiency of the assault rifle because it's much more accurate than the mercenary one. So it's very easy to just kind of, pop some heads. Just go kind of tap, tap, tap to clear some areas. I wish the game had unlocks for guns. Like, the point of the game is to drive you away from guns because the big selling point of Dead Rising is everything's a weapon. So if you just run around using guns the whole game, that kind of defeats the purpose. That being said, it would be nice just like the 6-shooter is a great example of an amazing gun where like the damage is okay. It is kind of really inefficient to use it for damage in my opinion because you got to go through like half of the thing, whereas that could also be 30 zombie kills. But still, you will, in my opinion, want guns for this fight. You can do melee, it's just he can also dish out some pretty big melee damage himself. So you want to be careful. But, yeah, luckily you can take one of those little orange carts over to him. That's kind of nice. I do not know. I assume you can actually probably access this area before now if you want to go way around. Or I guess they probably have this shutter closed or something. But actually in this area is open to the underground. There would be no reason to come over here, but yeah. So, I don't know quite know what this guy's deal is. I assume it's just the fact that he thought it was going to be like this basic military thing. Like, I'm sure he's probably actually fought zombies before. And then just everything went to hell. Honestly, it's a pretty simple fight, so I never really looked too much into the mechanics of this fight. Like, I would not be surprised if you might want to go get headshots just because of the fact that he does wear bulletproof armor. But he doesn't do too much damage as long as you can. If you can get close to him, like well, you'll notice I can do a lot of stuff. But he also he's pretty damn good close range himself. He can throw grenades, but you can also get them yourself. There are some healing items around. I think the main issue with this boss is your first time through, you don't realize you're going into a fight, so you may not be equipped for this. If you can get behind him over to his his friends, you can get their guns. But generally, standard psychopath rules apply. I don't think it's too tough. Like I said though, he would be very tough if you were a low level, just because you don't have a lot of leeway. I think he's just in this situation where he just believes like everyone's his enemy now, and he's really just like stuck where it's like, oh, God, I hate that the little hyper armor they get when they're stunned. So I think, yeah, it's just in this situation, it's like him versus the world. Like, he probably wants to save people, which is, I think, technically what he's doing with, like, Rebecca, or just wants to know, like, kind of what's going on. But everyone else he just views as, like, a threat or a liability. I hope you can hear the music. Dead Rising always has great psychopath music. And so far, like, I always was afraid that it's going to cause me issues on the channel, but, you know, it actually never has. Which is a nice little thing, because I thought for like stuff like the credits, where if I'm not like talking all the time, it would pick up that I'm just playing that song or something. I can never remember his name either. I feel like there's another case where you just be like, hey, I'm not a zombie. You know? If Chuck talked more, he could work things out. It's really morbid. feel like this makes a lot more sense if it all happened like very quickly. But like as is, because it's like drawn out for the sake of the fight. It looks like really like a 3-minute fight, and you never thought to say, "Hey, man, I'm just a survivor. Don't kill me." But now, so she's hurt, so we gotta deal with that. You can get her over to those trucks, and you can drive her around. The main issue we're gonna encounter here is we have to deal with them. We have to pick up that military scoop as well. So I figured I'd grab some weapons. There's a ton down here. It's just too bad because of how far they are from like any other useful location. But if you do want guns, you can come down here and get as many as you want. Luckily, I'm glad they like let you carry Rebecca instead of holding her hand. Like there's so many different like stages of that where it's like you can hold their hand, or you have to like support their shoulder, or you can carry them, or you can ideally carry them like piggyback. And each one has like benefits over the others that I wish you could just like force it. Like, hey, just get on my back. Because, yeah, it's something you don't notice until it's like really when you play it. But like, if you carry them in front of you, that's not as good as on your back because you're like this wider target, and you take a wider area, so you can't squeeze through the zombies as easily as when they're on your back. Same with like on the shoulder, it's a lot easier for them to get swiped off of you. And just holding the hand, it's like if you run too fast, they let go. But still better than usually like letting them come at you on their own. This is quite satisfying, by the way. I don't think you can be damaged in the vehicle, really. If you sit and stop, I believe if they have projectile attacks, they can hit you. But for the most part, you're pretty much invincible. Like, the Hummer spawns right by there. So if you have that and you can just drive to the Hummer and just plow through here, that makes it a lot easier, too. Sadly, I don't have it yet. I believe I just bought the chopper and the yellow car in Royal Flush. It's unfortunate. But so now the goal is to go get this military shipment over here. The thing is, they will attack you if you are carrying any guns, which is why I didn't grab more. I grabbed one just on the way, but if I recall, I somehow messed up this dialogue, and I have to like come back here because they didn't actually, like one of them didn't actually follow me, but the other did. And I hate that whole talking thing because it's like, you're doing this, not me. Probably should have popped down that queen, but I think I wanted to save it for opening up the Royal Flush Plaza entrance from zombies. I need, if I had to like give myself one piece of advice, it would be get as many queens as possible, because I'm always wanting for one, because they're just like such a perfect like device. Like clear out zombies, don't hurt survivors. Awesome. Especially like right now, they heavily increase the amount of queens for story reasons. So I should be grabbing more than I am. Especially like I don't need to like take this as fast as I am, because I actually have a lot of time before the end of the game, and even more so if I wasn't messing this up. So you'll notice here, I believe at this point, oh yeah, Michael just gets stuck. That's it. You can see him spazzing out in the corner there. I think he's stuck on one of those barriers, but I don't notice it. So I end up dealing with it. This weird kind of shuffle I have to do where it's like grab one person, put them here, heal them, go back for the other guy. It's a whole thing that I have to do. It kind of sucks. And this is one thing that is annoying because like at this point it's just like a glitch. It's not, oh man, I forgot to talk to him. It's just, oh yeah, he's just spazzing out. And I just need to get out here. Fortunately, I used my queen already. As you can see now, I'm dying. It's quite some pressure. So the goal here is, if you don't know, one thing I often use for healing is if you go in here and immediately to the right there's vodka in the men's like formal wear store, as well as a pineapple and I believe coffee creamer on the sign right outside the store in front of me right now by Roy's. Plus you have Roy's Mart, which has food. So I figured I'd stick these guys in, heal them up, and then they could stand here and wait while I go get this other guy. Like, I don't want to bring them with me in the transition. But unfortunately, it looks like Matthew might also be injured. And yeah, I have to carry his shoulder as well as Rebecca. So it probably wasn't a good idea to get both of them. I probably could have come back, but I wanted to be efficient because this is another case where I had missed this scoop before because I didn't know about it. Like I thought all scoops were done, and it's unlisted, so you don't get a call about it from Stacy. So yeah, I just never really done it because it's a whole thing to like. I figured, yeah, it wasn't worth playing the whole game just to do the scoop. And now that I'm here, I want to make sure that I do it. But then, sure enough, it caused me more trouble than it was worth. It's definitely doable. Like, in theory, what I could have done, the other guy's pretty tanky. I could have, like, taken Rebecca all the way back to the security room using the car. And then maybe come back, get the other guy. And, yeah, I wonder. I don't know if, I assume Rebecca could die. It looks like she was taking damage. I know in other portions of the game, it's nice because she'll just have, like, plot armor. Like, when you're escorting her to the security room at the beginning of the game, she can't die, and she won't defect, I don't think, just because she's so huge to the game. So you can just kind of wail on her as much as you need to, if you're into that. Or like here, what I could do, if you need to heal them more, I could just kind of keep going in and out. It looks like he got unstuck because it despawned the barricades. And I will say it was probably my fault, because I accidentally lifted that barricade when I talked to them, and I probably put it right in front of him and screwed myself. But still unfortunate. But I will say, pathfinding in video games is hard. Pathfinding in real life is hard. Like trying to like write a code that handles like where to go. It's crazy. And normally, like you could do it probably pretty well if you wanted to take like a lot of processing time. But you have to do it in real time for Dead Rising. So they usually do something where you'll define, say, like a grid with common paths, and then they can like choose between like all the possible paths and optimize that. It's like a what's called a dynamic learning problem. I learned this as a CE major, right? Where it's basically like as it goes, it computes like an incrementally better path and whatnot, and that greatly like helps computation rather than literally testing every single possible path. But then you get stuck because they do want to go to like certain courses and they don't know how to handle, say, like a barricade. So big issue here is he won't take the food because of the gun. I don't know if he's pointing at a zombie or he's literally pointing at me there, but wow, what a dick. So the goal is here to use the car. Again, if I had taken Rebecca back first, I wouldn't need the car, but I'm really glad I got it because it is only helpful to have this thing. And if you're actually good at driving, you don't take that much damage. Like, I did get a little bit better than the first time I took it out, and I just crashed into absolutely everything. It's weird how, like, vehicles were, I'd say, a much bigger deal in 1. Even though you would think that, okay, oh, he's trying to get in, wasn't he? You would think that Fortune City would present more opportunities for them to use vehicles than a mall would. Interesting. I noticed like my car's taking a lot of damage. What I could do is, it's kind of tempting actually for me to, I should maybe leave the area. Oh, look at Rebecca trying to go. She's at full health. I assume I heal her. What I could have done is I could have left the area and came back so that I would respawn the car, drive the next person, and they should save. I believe they saved the position, so it's not like it's going to move these guys at all. It might clear my waypoint, so they might start heading back to me. So that'd be an issue, but I mean, I'd get over there, but before he'd move like, anywhere significant. And Rebecca's tanky. Looks like she's mostly getting ignored based on her little icon there. So, which is surprising. She's got, as they say, plot armor, which is like where either she really shouldn't die for story reasons or can't die for story reasons. It's something I hear a lot in like D&D where like if you're like a bad DM and you really want, say, a big storyline event to happen, like where obviously evil dude betrays the party, well then the party catches on and he's like, well, let's kill him, but you keep coming up with reasons why he can't die or make him just like absurdly tanky for no particular reason, like he's just like a farmer but for some reason he's wearing like super magical steel armor or something. That's plot armor. Like this case in Rebecca, we need her to get to this next cutscene. So the zombies just kind of ignore her. She's not invincible, I do not believe, in this run, but you'll notice she is basically being ignored by zombies. Or when she does take damage, she just has a lot of health for an NPC. I kind of wish they displayed actual numbers, values for things like health and damage, or at least make that an unlockable option, because I think that would help players understand the game better. Like, maybe let the first playthrough be like this. But it is hard to understand, oh, what does more damage, the sledgehammer or the spike bat? It's kind of hard to say. I would assume the sledgehammer does more than, say, the normal bat, but the spike might be more. It's kind of vague. But they both kind of fill a similar role. So I'd love to see that. Or, just if you could check, what NPCs, what their health is, what psychopath's health is, how much damage weapons are doing. Are headshots actually worth it in most cases? You could see how much things heal exactly. And I would also love to check different survivors' personalities, especially in one where it mattered more. Just you don't have to do anything too crazy, giving me these very specific numbers. But it'd be nice to say oh, this is a cowardly survivor. Maybe he's fast but cowardly. This other guy's slow but brave, or maybe he's really inclined to fighting, so he always wanders off, and you're better off heavily escorting him, because otherwise he'll just try to fight and then get stuck in a crowd of zombies. Because the mechanics are there, but without explaining them to you, I think it's just kind of lost in the mechanics. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, check out one of the links below. Till next time, don't take your zombie safety for granted.